Listen, guys, we are here for such a time as this, and I'm in position with one of the best brothers on the planet, one of my favorite people to spend some time with, quality time. We don't get together often, but when we do, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time. We're spirits, God's children, God's sons, and he's a brother I hold in high esteem. He is a fellow believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, and he is also a fellow kingdom-minded entrepreneur. Now, we're in different lanes. We're doing different things, but the thing that I know and I appreciate about him and many others like him, we support one another. We encourage one another. Iron sharpens iron, y'all. And if you're not in the space already where you have been enjoying that and been experiencing that, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong circle. You're in the wrong group. You thought you had some friends, but they are not your friends. You need to hear with some people that there's some mutual, reciprocal blessings going on. And it's not always one-sided, that you can pull on them. They can pull on you. You're there for each other in season and out of season. So without any further ado, I want my brother, Mr. SanWarren's. We see you there, man. And is that the studio? Is that the new studio?
Hey, we in the studio. We in the studio. Hey, I wish I had a library. If I could show you my library, you guys would laugh. But the library that Pastor Mel has, that is my goal. You know, I always knew that personal development, I didn't say I always knew, but in the last few years when I got to see my personal business start to take off, it was because of personal development. And now I'm starting to read books. You listen, hey, entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, they read. And then when I met Pastor Mel, this guy, he's when I look in the mirror, that's who I want to see. I want to be like Pastor Mel. This guy is inspiration. Hey, I'm just saying, like you said, iron sharpens iron. And I'm telling you, when you start uniting with people, they say you're the vision of the 5 people that you hang with. And see, people are learning now that you don't just have to hang with in the streets. You can hang online because that's where it's at. I done met so many relationships that then elevated my life through online relations. Wow. It's crazy, Pastor Mel. It is crazy. So, I appreciate you. Anytime I get a call from you, I just know that it's something that's going to pour into my spirit. And like you said, we all help each other in what we're doing. So it's a pleasure. You told me a few. We always say we're going to connect. We're going to do this. We're going to get on. We're going to talk. And we never have. And it just seems like things was just trying to keep us from getting here. But we're here. Here we are. Yes, we are. Yes. So
let me just throw this at our audience watching today. And ladies and gentlemen, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and go to the comment section. If you haven't done so already, let us know you're watching this feed. Let us know what city you're in, what state you're in, what nation you're in. Let us know if it's a replay that you're watching. Type replay in the comments because we want to get you connected in the right zone. And we have a brother, no doubt, who can definitely do you that service. Share this broadcast. I promise you it's going to be a blessing to someone. If you go to the Facebook page or my page right now, if you're connected to me, you can share it. You can share it to his page. However you need to get the word out, because we're going to be talking about what's changed. Because
what's changed?
Business as usual.
Business. Let's get to it.
We're about to find out the quickest way to go out of business is being business as usual, right? And we got somebody who can really help us with that. Or is it ministry as usual? You want to shut your ministry all the way down? Do it the way you've always been doing it. Or even your leadership. So what's changed? Are we able to do what we've always been doing? Is that going to be enough for times such as this? We're going to be hearing from someone who definitely has it. Now, let me give my brother another major kudo because this is real deal. Holyfield. He was one of the, how long have we been connected, Sam? I think 7 years, 8 years, somewhere in that.
7, 8. Yeah. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, Pastor. Yeah.
And I remember when you came all the way out here and you did a conference for us and you with your wisdom. This is one of the brothers. I mean, for the past 15 years, those of you who are connected to me, I love gadgets. I love gadgets and technology and all that. And my ministry, Joshua House of Worship, we're a small church, but we're able to make a big impact. And the reason is because more than a decade ago, I stepped into the space of social media and all of the things afforded with it. And I began to understand that if you stay in the small pond you in, and if you're in your local area, that's a small pond, and if you don't reach out of those borders, you are really doing a disservice. Social media does so many things for us. It's changed lives all around the world by those who will take the time and the discipline necessary to learn how to literally don't change your message. People need you, your voice, who you are, but more people need to hear it. So this is a brother, one of the first brothers, in fact, that I connected with and began to lock arms with on a personal basis. Now, I had been learning and studying this thing from persons in the distance who I hadn't gotten acquainted with physically, but this was one of the first brothers that I got in touch with physically that I saw him reach. I mean, every time I turn around, he was doing things with folk in Australia, Africa, New Zealand. I mean, he had connections in China. This brother was doing, I was like, man, I mean, he was on conference calls all the time with folk all around the globe because of the things and the expertise and the skill sets that he had learned. So that was very impressive to me. So I want to thank you, brother, for really exposing me of what the possibilities are for anybody who's willing to learn. Major shout out. Major shout out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. You know, Pastor Mel, everything comes from problems, and most things that happen to us spring from problems and situations that's in our life. You know, when I was in North Carolina and I was doing my business, I owned 3 video game stores, making a lot of money, and I got sick and it took me out. You know, I didn't have that key man insurance. You know, I went to a video game repair. I went to TV repair school, but I told them I didn't want to learn nothing about TV and VCR. The next wave is video games. And see, and I said, I want to learn everything about the Xbox, the PlayStation. I want to know how to fix it and do all those things. I wasn't a gamer, still ain't a gamer, but I own 3 video game stores because I seen where videos was going. You know, videos is a legalized drug. You know, if anybody can catch that, then they can catch it. But video is a legalized drugs. If you go to VR now, which is big, that's just a big video game. Because if they gave you the realism that they could, most of us would be walking around like zombies. Right. So I saw that and I got into it, but then I was just that guy, the only guy, just like most people are going through right now. You depended on your own income, what you were doing. You know, not the other 4 quadrants or the other 2 that Robert Kiyosaki talks about. We were invested in that 1 quadrant, and that's where I was. And my brother said, "Hey, I can't help you. You got to come to Florida where I can help you." So I came, and I stayed struggling with my health. And you know, your health is your wealth. Yes, people it is. Understand. I lost my health chasing the almighty dollar. You know, trying to make it. You know, keeping your head above water, all those things. I lost my health, not taking care of myself, not eating, burning the candle at all ends. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yes, people are doing that in pursuit because we're so lost off balance because we're still in that slavery. Still slavery. You just changed it from the field to the cubicle. That's all. Right. You ain't changed nothing. You're still strapped to it. You know, it controls your day-to-day. Everything that you're thinking about is on that level. So I had to get back to my health, and that's I met so many people along the way. But 2 years sitting on the sidelines, I said, I'm not going to wait on a check. I got to go get my check. And I heard about this online thing, and you know, everything was online was mostly scams all the time. Everything you saw was a scam. I said, but it's got to be something real about this thing. So I got into it, and I signed up with this app. It was called LA app. It was I didn't pay anything, Pastor Mel. I didn't recruit anybody, and I made $2,100. And they sent me a 1099. The only reason why they sent me a 1099, I never saw a dime, but they sent me a 1099 saying I owe some taxes. Now I don't normally do this online, but I put my social security number in there. I don't know what made me do that. Most people that listen to this, you know, you probably will never do that either, but I did. Right. And maybe it was the anointing of the Holy Spirit said, sorry. So I put, and I got a 1099 back in the mail, and I said, 2,100. I said, babe, don't you think I would remember what $2,100 if I received it?
Right.
Yeah. I called up the company and they said, well, you know, Payza was big back then when Payza was a big deal. You know, internet people trying to get online. The only payment system outside of PayPal was Payza. So we were all using Payza, and Payza called. You know, I called them and I said, hey. They said, yeah, you did receive the money. You got it from this company, blah, blah, blah. So I called the company and they said, let us check our records. They said, yeah, we have, but we sent it to the company. It's kind of like Cash App. Okay. And so I called them. I said, hey, they said they sent the money to you. Where's the money? I don't have no money. They said we sent it back because it was never claimed. I never claimed it because I never knew I made anything. I didn't recruit anybody. I didn't pay anything. So I just thought I seen this technology and I said, this is going to be huge. Apps, people are using apps to market their business and all that. I just saw that to be huge. And I said, let me sign up for it and see, maybe they'll follow up with me and let me know, you know, what's going on when they launch. I never heard anything, but they did launch and they did a lot of business. They had to do a lot of business. I made $2,100. So anyway, I called them. I ran the money down. They finally said, yeah, we owe you the money. And they sent me the money. And then when I talked to the guy, the only guy I ever remember, I don't remember names a lot, even in high school, elementary school, college. I don't know a lot of people's names. I seem like I forget. I'm a military brat. So relationships is like boom, 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 boom. And I meet a lot of people. So Alton, I said, hey, Alton, I didn't do nothing. What do you think could happen if I actually do something? He said, bro, don't even worry about it. The company's compensation plan was bad and they paid out too much money more than they ever brought in. So now they're going to close down business. You know, just be blessed. So I looked at that and I said, well, you know what? There's probably other companies out here with this online thing that probably people are paying. It could change people's lives. And I was at home with my sickness and my health situations, but I was in pursuit of this education online. Trust me, I went to the school of hard knocks. Come on. Like most of you guys are doing right now. You're going through some schools and you're getting some good education from failure after failure after failure, rip off after rip off, you know, companies being building up and shutting down all at the same time. And then now through this time in this era, you're looking for proper leadership. People that can actually pour into you and uplift you. And that's the reason why it's all about the leadership, the people that you're following, people like Pastor Mel and some other people out here that are really dedicated to it. Ever since I met Pastor Mel, he's always been the people's champion, trying to do more. He's a pastor. I even addressed that I was ordained too, still ordained, but my ministry is not in a pulpit. People say, how come you're not in a church anymore? How come you're not? There's more ministry out here than ever before. Come on, say it again. There's more brokenness out here than ever before. And just because my message don't seem like it's being preached into you, and it comes more in a teaching to you form, but it's still ministry. Absolutely. You know, people every day need some type of uplift. You know, Pastor, thank you for being that guy. There's a 3-chord process and everybody understands the Trinity. But right now it's learning how to market yourself more effectively online. And that's what brought me and you together. And I learned that. And once you learn it, you got to teach it. That's the reason of a blessing is once you receive a blessing, you got to release it. Okay. And so now that you got it, then you've given it to other people. That's the teaching and the education. But another thing is your health. Like I said, that's my ministry right now. I work with a health and wellness company, and it was brought to me because what I was doing with cryptocurrency. And, you know, if anybody knows me, I'm a big advocate of cryptocurrency. Every day at 1:00, I teach people how to get into the game.
Talk about both of those. Talk about what you're doing in the crypto industry and talk about what you're doing as it relates to the health and wellness.
Okay. All right. So from the crypto point of view, we're actually right now, every day at 1:00, we open it up for free for people to come in and get on Zoom with us. And we just, any questions, anything that you might be concerned with from a crypto standpoint, we actually take you through that process and enlighten you more about it. Because of the industry, especially at this time, there are going to be more and more people looking toward that industry. Fiat now is unstable. it's in a bad situation with the relief fund and all these with them printing more money. All it's going to cause is more havoc and more disruption future. You know, we already seen the market happen when they release more into the market. The value of the dollar starts to fall. So crypto has always been, since 2008, has been that type of currency that can give the market more of an uplift, because one is decentralized. It's not controlled. Okay. It's not it's free for the people. It's governed by the people. So it's more for us people that now understand how the banks work and all those different things like that. But we're getting ready to launch a platform for education. You know, education is the way. You know, when you go into college, you need to be educated on different things that you might be interested in. Well, we understand people are going to flock to this crypto industry, and they're going to need the education, like how to get a wallet. You know, how to convert your crypto from fiat, and fiat is just regular dollars, USD dollars, to cryptocurrency. How to get in the game. You know, the stock market as we know it today is not going to be the stock market of the future. So we want to help you embrace that shift and show you a vehicle, a platform, just like what you were already doing, but without all the restrictions, without all the you know, the stuff involved in getting into the market, who you know and who you pay and all that. There's a lot of that in crypto. You don't have to worry about that. So we're just really enlightening people, educating, and giving them a place where they're going to get information and not just be purchasing packages and not really getting what they need. I know a lady, she said, look, in 30 minutes, I learned more from you than I went to a $500 seminar and we paid and I didn't even learn anything there. So you're going to get real information from what we're doing. We're getting ready to launch. Right now, we're at a standstill because of the regulation in different areas. They're trying to really regulate cryptocurrency. So they're trying to keep people from opening up different exchanges, saying that it's a lot of money transfer. You might need licenses. So we're going through some things right now, but we're still moving forward. I'm looking probably in April or May to actually we be full-fledged open for people to just start joining our platform.
Wow. So I want to encourage those of you who are listening. This is an area that I have no understanding of, but it's something that San has really taken the time to begin to show me some things. And I'm a student in this area under his tutelage in the area of this, because business as usual. I'm going to go back to what we were saying before. If you've done banking and you know anything about interest rates, you know that you will never make any money by just putting your money in the bank. You need to obviously pay your bills and do things. So banks and credit unions, of course, have their place. But nowadays it's time to learn that if we just do what we've always done, we're not even going to get what we've always gotten. You might get even worse now. We're behind the curve. And if you take the time to learn, you don't have to invest. I'm not saying go out and invest in anything. Learn, get the information, evaluate it, exercise all due diligence to find out for yourself. We can't just do what we've always been doing. Business, banking, economics as usual. Things have shifted, guys. Things are not like they were 10 years ago. They're not even like they were last year. And we're going to get to that in just a moment, let alone 10 years ago, 20. And some of us are operating off of stuff that our grandparents were doing, and it was their day that it worked. Well, we are no longer in that space. And if you want to find out more about this thing, about cryptocurrency, I couldn't encourage you more to go and reach out on SanWarren's Corner. That's his Facebook. That's the Facebook connection that I know he got 1,000 pages and stuff. but go ahead to that particular page and you'll get a quicker response, I'll say, because he's a busy man. He's working with people not just across the country, but from continent to continent, y'all. And I'm not over exaggerating to any extent. So you definitely want to connect with him. And that's his phone number. He's very bold to put his number out there like that. Nowadays, you got all kind of folk out there, but don't waste his time, y'all. Just ask whatever questions you need to ask. Go to his inbox. He'll cordially answer your questions and not waste your time. Please don't waste his. At the same time, so we're talking about this thing. I want you to move over into the health space for us because I've been there. We've worked that area before. And let me just say it this way. There's no one thing for everybody. I don't believe any of us are doing anything that everybody needs to go do it. That's never been the way I operate, never been the way I think, unless it's, of course, when it comes to Jesus Christ. I believe he's for everybody, and everybody needs to have their personal relationship with him. I believe that. But you do with it what you want, but that's for me in my house. But when it comes to business, your track and your lane, based upon your passion, based upon your makeup, based upon your experience, based upon, the habits and the hobbies and the things that are most meaningful to you. Health and wellness, he said it earlier, your health is your wealth. We will never be able to argue against that wisdom. He said he was thriving in his traditional business, 3 places of operation, making all kind of money, but at the expense of what? When at the end of the day, you done wore your body down to the point where you literally have been told, as he was, that he may not be here much longer. And I'm so, man, you're a testimony. I love you, brother. A testimony about what prayer and the power of God can do, especially when we're in obedience. Because sometimes we're claiming things by faith and we're believing God, but then we don't even do the practical things we're supposed to do. And then we go contrary. And I know there's a whole lot of faith people out there. I operate by faith, but I also understand the wisdom, and I also understand the things that God has given us to do on our own. And when I mean on our own, that means in obedience and in compliance with the things that he's already ordered. If you don't eat, come on now, how are you going to take care of your body? If you don't rest your body, if you don't get proper nutrition, if you don't exercise, and I'm preaching to me, and I better hear myself, I'm going to watch the replay. If you don't exercise your body, man, you're hurting yourself, Mel Keys, if you don't exercise. So the thing of it is, we got to do better. We got to take care of our body. And that's a space where you went into, and you went into it, not because you were trying to make money. And I know this to be true because we've had so many conversations. You went into this space because if you didn't, you wouldn't even have been here today. I can't tell the story. Will you tell it? Yeah,
man. The story is, I need to write a book. My sister told me I need to go ahead and write a book. But, I don't know, these lives supposed to be short, but when they get 2 people like me and you on,
that's all right.
We might go for the record, But anyway, it started when I was in Tallahassee, when my brother told me to come, and I saw myself staying with my aunt. She had her feet up and I had mine. We both swole, like, I don't know what, edema. I couldn't walk to the front door, just breathing, fluid levels high, and just AFib, congestive heart failure, high blood pressure, diabetes, gout, the whole gambit. And, by faith, I said the only thing I knew at that time was God kept telling me, go to the market. And the market for me was the flea market. That's where I could go and, make me a little bit of money because of what my mom put into me was always being an entrepreneur. And, my skills with that, but I would go to the market not to sell anything. I would just go in obedience, and people would ask me, why are you here? And I was like, I don't know. I was told to come here. And they would think I was kind of crazy. So I met this lady from Atlanta. She was out there selling her jewelry, which she was in the wrong place at the wrong time, because she sold, flea market is normally low budget type of stuff. And she had some real nice stuff that should have been in an apartment store. And I told her, I said, lady, look, you ain't gonna make no money out here. She said, oh, that's okay. I just like getting out the house and da. So we talked and we conversated, and she asked me what was wrong with me and what I was going through. I gave her, the whole rundown. And she said, I'm about to go to Las Vegas, and I'm going to one of those seminars, and they're talking about some stuff that can possibly help you. And I was like, okay, all right. She said, when I come back, I just thought I'd never see this lady again. I call her my angel. And so she came back a couple weeks later, and she was out at the flea market, and I talked to her. She said, hey, I got that stuff. And I was like, what stuff? You got the stuff? Okay. She told me how much it was. I said, I can't afford that. I ain't even got a job. She said, well, you know what? I believe in it enough. I'll pay for it for you. And when I got on it, my whole health situation, it just changed. You know, I had more energy, fluid fell off, and then I was, you know, I ain't gonna say 100% was back to myself, and people wanted to know what I was doing. At that time, that was probiotics, you know, your gut health, getting your gut health right. You know, people wasn't really talking about it then. Candida, which they talk about this gluten stuff now, but Candida was the thing, and it ain't went nowhere. It's still there. It's just people move on to different things. So that was the first incident. So the next time I moved I moved down to Sarasota, and I had some things, you know, things come back. You know, you start taking life for granted again, not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you didn't, I didn't fix that, which you really didn't. You didn't change nothing. You're still doing the same old thing. It was just a temporary fix. You know what I'm saying?
Free, but not delivered.
Yeah, exactly. So it came back, but it came back with more vigor and more tenacity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was worse. So I said, you know, that what I'm going to the doctor, and ain't nothing. They poked a hole in my side. Did it twice now. I had 7 liters of fluid come out of my stomach.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was walking around like I was pregnant, about to deliver. I had so much fluid on me. I couldn't put on my shoes, all those things. And so I called my angel. I said, hey, you know, you're always there. Is there something? She's the kind of lady, she's never been to the doctor. You know, she's always healthy. She's about in her early 60s now. And you would never tell it if you met Nancy. So she told me about the light therapy technology. So I said, hey, that sounds good. She said, yeah, to get your blood circulation, getting your circulation back up. That's what you need as a heart patient. You need for your blood to start to flow. You know, just educate me along the way. Right. So, you know, during that time, I was educating too, because you want to read, you want to know, you know, what you're supposed to be doing. So I said, ooh, that sounds logical. How do I get it? She said, well, I have a place I sell them. I have people coming in Atlanta. That's all I do. But one kit costs you $1,500. I said, whoa, there you go. I said, once again, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even working. And she said, you know what? I got a friend that lives in St. Pete. That's just about 35 minutes away from you. I'm going to call her, and you go pick her lights up. She just spent this money and bought the lights. I went and got them for a month. Situation changed. I was back to business as usual. So, you know, I'm going to fast forward. Some more things happened, and she led me to some other things. But when I was doing cryptocurrency, I was doing it big. I had left $25 Legacy, where I met you, Pastor Mel, which was paying us really, really great. But I seen the promise of cryptocurrency before everybody else really jumped in it. I didn't start at 2008 when everybody else did, but I started at 2010 to 2012, 2014, right there when it was really starting to boom. So I didn't want to do anything but crypto. I didn't want to look at nothing. I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to see nothing. But during that time, my health was dwindling again. So this guy called me. He said, "San, I know you. I know you from the crypto business. I didn't know who this guy. Well, I kind of knew him, but really didn't know him that great." He said, "I have something," and you know, salesman pitch. You know, here it is.
Wait
just
for
trying to shop your stuff.
I
said, "What is it, man?" He said, "Look, I think this can help you." And I had heard of it, and I heard about Donny Osmond. I heard about all these stars, and I said, "Well, they just paid them to go on there and talk about it." Blah blah blah. I didn't really believe in it, and then I saw the company. The guy that I knew, he jumped into the company, and he really didn't do much because their compensation plan sucked. And you know how it is to have a great product.
Yes,
but when you're trying to do network marketing or whatever, if you don't have a good compensation plan, then you know the compensation plan overshadows the product. Right. So it just didn't do nothing. So I was like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. He said, "Look, try it." I said, "How much is it going to cost me?" And he said $50. $50. I told my wife, I said, "Look, I spend $50, but I'm not buying that package. They think I'm about that package. You know, you start thinking they ain't gonna get me. They ain't gonna get me.
I'm not about to be got today.
You ain't gonna get me. And then something in my spirit saying, you need to try everything. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, I said, how much is everything? He said $1,300. Mm-hmm. I told my wife I wasn't gonna do it. Then I said, hey boo, let me get that credit card. And I put it on there with faith. Faith. He said, by your faith, you are healed. You got to believe it. If nobody else can see it, you got to see it. If nobody else can hear it, you got to hear it. And I heard it. It said, go get it. And I got in and I took it. I was on it for about 4 months. And my doctor was asking me, what are you doing? Your numbers are going through the roof. Blood work's never been this good. All kinds of things I was getting. And, I just made it up in my mind. I told my business partner, I said, Cedric, I said, look, we've done a lot of stuff and we've never planted our flag nowhere. I said, part of that online is not planting your flag.
Right.
Rich people say no to everything. And when they see something, they go all in on it.
Right.
I said, well, this is what we're going to have to do. And, you got to have partnerships out here, you guys. If you're doing business, you got to look for people that line up with what you want to do. And so, Cedric said, yeah, I'm in. And, 4 months, 5 months later, we were moving up the ladder in success in the business. But the thing about it was my health was getting good and my ministry was to help more people. I did it with $25 legacy to help people market themselves more effective online. Then I said, now I got something here that I can help people with their health. So I really believe, and I know you said there's not one product out there that is true. That is true. But as long as you're being affected by free radical damage, oxidative stress, every time you breathe, there's millions coming in. And you can go back to Google and it will show you that almost anything you could think about is directly correlated to oxidative stress. Well, this product removes oxidative stress from your body. It does it 40% within 30 days. If you got junk coming in, it will remove it. So that's half the battle. You're not going to ever defeat it, but you can combat it with being able to tap into your pathway. It happens at a cellular level. See, we're always trying to get to this topical one-hit wonder, do a little bit here and there, and then our bodies is not processing it like the way it was built to, the way God created it. What this product does, it removes all that gunk. It said if you don't have a lot of outside interference, then your body inside can do what God created it to do. God didn't create no junk. Pastor. So that's why I said this is an activator. It's not a supplement. It's not a vitamin. Most of us are over supplementing and over vitamining, if that's a word. It is. We're not even fixing the stuff that really is happening in our bodies. Now we have this immune scare. If you upregulate your immune system, your gut health, where the probiotics is and the omegas, that's where you're going to get your immune system at a higher level. But see, there's so much stuff out here, Pastor, we don't know if we're getting good stuff or not. So there is another issue. So that's why this is what makes me have this mission. That the company is publicly traded. They can't lie. They can't cook the books. Most network marketing companies don't want to go public. And it's because they hiding stuff. And they don't want people to know the real numbers. Publicly traded, number 1 in Utah, number 5 in the country as publicly traded companies. They rang the bell on the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ. I mean, the company is off the chain, and the product, they're in a category by themselves. Nutrigenomics is the study of food and the way it correlates to our body. And it's all natural. He said all the herbs of the garden was made for man to heal himself. The garden is here. We just got to find it. So I thank God for those people that stood up in the gap and said, hey, you need to do this. And I tell anybody now, you need to get on it. It might not be for everybody, but you need to start somewhere. And if you're not doing those things that you need to do, then you're going to have something that's going to help you and fight for you.
I love it.
That's the health part, man. You about to make me cry on this thing right here.
That is good, man. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, if you haven't done so already, please take the time to get connected to that brother with the pearls of wisdom, the wisdom that he just shared. Again, check with him. This is an area that I have absolutely no knowledge in. I'm relying on this brother, and he'll connect you to the right sources. He'll answer your questions. He'll send you some correspondence. Go ahead to his Facebook page, SanWarren's Corner Facebook page, or you can go ahead and send him a text right now. I mean, the brother got his phone right there for a reason. Go ahead and text him. Listen, don't waste his time, though. Time is valuable. You can get a whole lot of money back, but you'll never get your time back. So make it worth the while. Get your questions answered. So let's shift gears a little bit, my brother.
Okay.
You've been talking about the economic side, the business side. Things have shifted because if all you have is a traditional business or even a regular job, let's just be clear. Not thousands, not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but millions of people every single year in our nation are being what they call downsized, right-sized, whatever you want to call it, jobs offshore. They're losing their employment. Some people have put in 18 years thinking that they were going to get to 2-0 and then they were going to live happily ever after. Well, guess what happened at the 18th year? It didn't go down so well. And we put a lot of stock in corporate America, and God knows I've been there, done that, T-shirt, hat, and everything go with it. I'm not ignorant to it. I've spent time there. I've invested there. But the reality is the writing was on the wall. I said, I do not want my life to be lined up in that way. I want to make sure that I'm developing, cultivating, as long as it takes to get there, multiple streams of income. Meaning you don't necessarily have to quit your job today. Maybe you're doing something you love and you want to stay with it for the rest of your life. But you need some extra ways that income is finding you. You got all kinds of ways that money is leaving you. You need some extra ways money is going to find you and come to you. And what he's saying is if you just use the traditional means, the job, or even setting up a traditional business, what happens when things like what we're experiencing now occur, you're not prepared to maintain or to even go further. So we want to encourage you. I'm going to give you a number and something for you to do as well. Now, he's in the area specializing, and I'll even say dominating a space of health and wellness and dominating a space as it relates to cryptocurrency. I want you to go ahead and go to him right away. As it relates to me, my space, and I'm not dominating, I believe I'm scratching the surface, but I'm definitely on my way up, baby. There's no doubt about this thing.
All the way up.
And I want you to do this. I have a particular program in partnership with none other than Mr. Todd Strand, who is definitely a guru, bar none, in the industry of travel and direct sales as a whole. And we're putting together a 3-part training for people to work their business from home, build it from scratch, and knowing what to do and what not to do. If you're interested in that program, I'm in a travel space. I want you to text Coach Me to 830-522-2110. I want to work with more like-minded individuals, persons who are persons of faith, persons of inspiration, persons who love to serve and help other people, and persons who love to travel. Because we got places to go, things to do, and people to see, right? So that's where I want to help you if I'm able to do so. Text Coach Me to 830-522-2210. But on the other hand, if you want more information, hear me well, go ahead and text this man of God right away. That's 941-315-8414, or go to Facebook to SanWarren's Corner, and you'll be able to find him right there. Here's where the gears will shift. So we know that we can no longer afford to do business as usual because things have changed. And look at how many people are home right now. Now, many of them, thank God, they're in a position where they're still getting paid, from taking leave or whatever. And but that's a lot of people out there saying they're home. They were given the, hey, see you later. Don't know when I'm going to have you to come back either, but they're not getting paid. And when you work and your only income is 9 to 5, and that's just the time frame, cliche, and it's based upon you clocking in and clocking out, and that's all you got, you're in a bad place right now. So we know for a fact that people need to learn how to operate more on their own and more independently, and not just to be locked into only one stream of income from a job or traditional business. But is that also something that we need to consider? Let's go to the next gear, ministry as usual. And you're a man of God. You have a ministry where you serve not just in sanctuary space, which I believe that we should stay connected there as well, but outside the sanctuary where the greatest volume. Jesus said, I did not come for those who are well. I came for those who needed the doctor. He is the doctor of all doctors. So he wants us to go out into the highways, the byways, and compel men and women, boys and girls to come to him. Come before it's everlasting too late. Well, listen, I'll even say it this way. I know it might sound crazy. We waste a lot of time in the sanctuary. No, I'm going to get something on this. Let me tell you.
Hey, that's a whole nother show right there.
We're going to open up a can of worms. I'm going to say it again. I'm a pastor. We waste a lot of time in the sanctuary.
Yes, sir.
And what I mean by that is because, number one, we go for the wrong reason. We go for the wrong objective. We go with the wrong purpose in mind. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm glad to be in his house. One more again. I was glad to go into his courts. I was glad to get into his house. There's a blessing in the house of the Lord. But you're not supposed to stay there forever. Mm-hmm. And some Christians, we have made the mistake of thinking that the whole thing is inside the sanctuary. No, it was never that way. It was supposed to be, we go there, we assemble there from house to house, breaking bread, spending time in the presence of God, getting the anointing to put us on one accord, that we can operate on one vision as one household, as one mind, and then go out scattered to do the work of God. And we've been missing it. And another area, man of God, where we've missed it is so many churches missed the move. And it happened decades ago, really, where social media gave us the opportunity to spread the net out around the globe. Back in the day, they had, I grew up with the Oral Roberts and Swaggart and, that type of thing, TV and all that type of stuff. And then many came on on radio. And then while I was driving, I would listen to Dr. Stanley and Adrian Rogers and J. Vernon McGee and Tony Evans and so many others. I mean, this is how I just what I did. So they were ministering to me from either radio or from television. And that was something that only those ministries who had prime resources were able to even operate in that way. Well, guess what happened when they did this thing called Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Snapchat and all the other stuff that go along with it? How many people are there approximately on the planet, brother? What's the last number?
7 million?
Billion. Yes.
7 billion.
And how many approximately are on social media, one form or shape or another?
I think on Facebook they got like over 30 million.
It's over a billion people on using some form or another.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Now check this out. Why are we not dominating this space in ministry?
Because we're scared. We're still living in the past. We're not going out in all the corners. You gotta believe that everything was meant for God, and we have to find a way to take it back. If it, people say cryptocurrency is the devil. Well, we need ministry in cryptocurrency so we can lead the people. YouTube, we need ministry there. TikTok, I saw TikTok the other day. Man, I seen so many people on TikTok. Not just dancing, but they pray on some people that real prayer warriors get on there and put out some serious prayer because people are watching. Mm-hmm. They're watching, and they say, "Hey, stop scrolling. I don't know what you're going through, but let me pray for you right now." Yes. And they start praying, and there's a whole bunch of prayer warriors on TikTok. Word, all kinds of things happening on TikTok. Everything that the other side has, we need to have in technology. Yes. We need to have it. I tell people that the land has already been dominated, the land, but the internet is the ocean. We got to get to the ocean. We got to take the ocean back too. We covering the land, with churches on every corner, every foot. If you come to my little space in Florida, little Ruskin, little tomato town, there's about, on one street, there's about 10 churches, 5 on this side, 5 on that.
Right.
It's like church alley. But when you get online, it's, only a few. My brother said he was going to start teaching churches how to get on Zoom and go and do, because like you said, it's business as usual. Church is a business. It's not business as usual with the church. If you haven't set yourself up on live and how to get text offering, not saying, but the church still has to survive. It still has to be able to do things. I mean, it might be a triage for people that are coming to get education, get resources, whatever. That's what the church is for. Right. So yeah, we got our ministry. Our ministers got to elevate. They got to go up to the next level. Oh no, I'm not getting on no live. I ain't doing all that. I don't want people all up in my church. They just don't get it like that, looking through a TV. Well, how are they going to get it now when you now you keeping people from the word? How's that? They're not getting it. You got to give it to them some kind of way. So.
Absolutely. One of the things, brother, is you said fear has kept us out of this space, but another thing is ignorance. And so many times we speak on things that we haven't even fully examined. We're just going off of what somebody else has said without really investigating for ourselves in an objective manner. And back in the day, my grandparents' day, I guess it was, remember, television, they would say, was the one-eyed devil. So,
yeah.
If you were in the Lord, you were saved and filled with the Holy Spirit, you were not supposed to watch TV. Or if, even prior to that, radio, you could only watch radio on certain days and be considered a holy person, a righteous person. I mean, our traditions and things ain't never read nothing like that in the word itself, but we just make up stuff. And our traditions become the truth for us because that's all we've ever heard.
Tradition.
And we get raised up. And instead of finding out for yourself what thus saith the Lord really is all about. So my thing is this, and I'm an advocate for this, finding out for yourself. And I believe that your family should be sitting down on a regular basis around the table, somewhere in the living room, and the things that your pastors, your ministry leaders are sharing, you should be discovering those things for yourself. You should be reviewing those things, making sure that what they say is lining up with the word and that it's in accordance with the word, because folk can often err. And if you just follow along and never question anything, you never study for yourself, how do you even know? So when the bread is broken, make sure that it's being broken right, because the word says, study to show what? Yourself. Approved unto God, a workman that needs not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So we want to make sure that we're encouraging homes, families to study the word for themselves. Why am I saying that? Because here we are in this space where now most of us across the nation, it's sad, but it's true. It should have never been this way. Ministries are shutting down because they have no idea, no clue how to operate outside of the building. When the reality, brother, is not only should we be surviving in this time, we should be thriving in this time.
Absolutely.
And we should be the solution and the point person showing other persons, families, and even businesses how to operate for such a time as this. And I believe that God is calling those who literally will be wise enough and discerning enough to plug in and connect with individuals that are like-minded with them, that have common vision, common values, that if you're not in that space already, get somebody that can help you. And that's one of the areas that I'm a student of myself. I'll be honored if you know someone in ministry that needs help in this regard. I'll be honored to do what I can to show you tools, to show you strategies, to show you resources. If you're only doing ministry the way you've always done it, you're going to be in trouble. Does not mean change your message. If your message is right, keep building on what's right. No other foundation should be laid than that which is already laid, which is Christ Jesus our Lord. We don't try to change the foundation. If you are, I'm not rolling with that. You do you and do that. I'm not with you. Jesus Christ is my foundation, period, point blank. End of the conversation on that. That's foundation. But how I share him, how I live for him, how I do those things where there are some areas of liberty that we have opportunity to disagree on certain things. They're not foundational. Man, that's all right. It's okay. So we need to change our methodologies, but not change that message, that foundational message. So what we're saying is ministry as usual. What you said, we got to upgrade. We got to upscale. So I want to encourage somebody watching this broadcast, share it. There are so many people that are left out. And again, ministries, not just sanctuary ministries and pastors, preachers, teachers, apostles, prophets, so forth and so on. Not just that, but what about all the other ministries that people have? Maybe you have a ministry helping in the area against human trafficking, helping in the area fighting domestic violence, helping in the area teenage pregnancy and suicide and things of that sort amongst not just teenagers, but so many people that, you know, get to that point. Maybe your ministry is illiteracy, helping people who have been incarcerated or whatever the case is, and they need to really learn how to read well. And you have the skill set to do that. So there's so many different things you can do without ever going into a building, without people ever coming to your building, but you can do this for people. Here's what I love about it, not just even in your city. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about how wide reaching this thing can be if we work together and show people how you don't have to do ministry as usual? Can you speak on that?
Well, because of the internet, you can, you know, be in countries like Pastor Mel said before. You know, I'm in countries all over the place, all over the world. It's just amazing. As I probably have more influence internationally, globally, statewide, more so than in my own city here in Ruskin, Florida. You know, Tampa, Florida, is because on a day-to-day basis, I'm connecting to people in every state, every country. You know, friends in China. You know, I have a friend who she lives about 5 miles from Wuhan. She lives in Hunan, and it's only about 5 miles from there. And she's like, "Hey, it's business as usual." You know, you know, she owns her own business and everything, entrepreneur, and you know, being able to reach out to people in that direct vicinity and getting the real story and seeing what's really happening, you know, that's the whole big story. But you're not limiting yourself to one location. You know, you're putting that message out, and you don't know who might pick it up. The way social media is and how broad it is, you'll be surprised at the remote little place that you can get in if they got a cell phone or any type of communications. They can actually get that message. And and I think that's the whole purpose of the ministry too, for that message to go forth to all the nooks and crannies. And how are we going to do that if we, you know, we can't transcend our own little town, our own little walls of our house, you know, and it doesn't take much money to do it. You know, anybody who has a cell phone or a computer connection can jump into the game and go full throttle, like we're doing right now. I mean, we're not in no big TV studio or anything like that. So, you know, a lot of stuff is being hidden, but a lot of stuff is being revealed at the same time.
Yeah, I love it. So we're going to shift gears one more time, man of God. Let me go ahead and get ready. We've been talking about the business side of it all and how things have so changed, so shifted. Keep those 8 tracks if you want to, but those machines are not coming back. I mean, go ahead and keep them because they have maybe historical value to you. Maybe they're heirlooms or something of that sort, you know, things that your family have passed on, but those machines are not coming back. We are no longer in that space. And if you keep doing that business, you keep bringing in your income from that one way that you were taught, go to school, get a degree, or go to the military or whatever, get that job, stay there for 20 years or 30 years, retire, get your goal. Why? Man, you better hear this. You should have got this memo already. Those days are gone. And that does not mean do not fully invest yourself and engage yourself in your place of employment and give your very best and put your best foot forward and make that place the best place you can based upon your skill sets. I'm not telling you to cut back from being here because I believe that wherever you are, you should blossom there and do well wherever you are. But don't do that at the expense of not having something for yourself that you're building with your name that you're going to pass on. Wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Same thing, same avenue, same thing in business, same thing in ministry. Ministry means service. Ministry means literally humbling ourselves with what God has done for us, what God has given to us in such a way that we're making it better for someone else. It's washing someone else's feet. That's what ministry is all about. It's not about being in the front. It's not about having the most charisma, having the most charm, having the most finesse, being the most gifted person. You might be the least gifted person, but if you can serve, don't let nobody outserve you. Don't be the most prideful person. Be the most humble person. The person that's not looking for fame and fortune and all that. Your fame and fortune is to make other people better. That's what ministry is really about. And you don't need to be in the sanctuary to do that. You should be going in and connected to a sanctuary that's promoting that, so that when you go out, the stock goes up everywhere, because when you come to that house, you've been made better, you've been made greater, you've been empowered in such a way that now when you go out, your whole ambition, you are an ambassador to serve other people. And that cycle just continues. And when you put that in the space of what you just said, I love what you just said. You're not just doing it in the land, but when you take that to the ocean, vast oceans, vast space. We haven't even gone down to the deepest levels, they say, of what the ocean has to offer. So much territory we haven't even put our foot on it, because we've been hiding in fear, or we've been ignorant, or whatever the reason is. And now is the time. This virus has awakened us to see that, man, we've been leaving so many things out. Let me encourage you, if you're in ministry, and we're going to shift, make sure you don't leave the elders out, because even using this space of social media and all of that, there are times when we haven't done what we were supposed to, perhaps, to bring them up to par. And they're going to, some of them, not all. Now, we got some senior saints, that is, shoot, they know more than,
Yeah, what do we do?
They 80 years old, and they Snapchatting, they, tick-tacking and talking and everything else, right? But so I'm not saying that, they can't and they won't, but by and large, by the numbers, some of our senior saints, they might not have that smartphone. They still got that flip phone. You know what I'm saying? They got to go like this.
They shifting though, Joe. Don't think they ain't. I got a couple of my wife's uncles. They used to send off to Korea because they weren't making them no more. They was going to China and get their model because they had discontinued. That's how far they went. But then they start weighing the cost. For you to run one of those, they call them dumb phones. You can get a smartphone with all them things with the same price. It ain't costing you that much more.
Absolutely.
So they say I can have all this
and the same phone.
Exactly. And then hey, I'll take it. And then now that they got it, it's like a whole new world.
Absolutely.
They done discovered a new love.
There you go. So we got to bring them up to par. We got to make sure that we don't leave them out. So when we begin making these shifts, sometimes the things that might need to be incorporated is make sure they know how to pick up a phone. They know how to call into a number and then punch in a PIN code. So you might be doing your ministry and really doing well for the public at large that can get on YouTube, that can get on whatever. But make sure you have an opportunity for the senior saints to call in and hear the word of the Lord. We don't want them disconnected from the word of the Lord. At such a time as this, we need as much encouraging, uplifting, inspiring word from the Lord as we can get. We must consume not less of it. We must consume more of it, because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And we don't want to see suicide rates and depression and all that escalating, because people are operating in a spirit of fear and discouragement. And all day long, all they hear is this fighting between Republicans and Democrats. And I'm sick of both parties and all this stuff going on, where literally it's just a mess. And no one is talking about the benefit of everyone. They're just talking about what's benefiting themselves. So ministry, if we're going to do it well, we got to make sure that we don't leave those out. But let's go to this let's switch gears. We're going to go to this last part, which is leadership. Can we lead as usual? And I want to hear from you, man of God. What has to change in our leadership? Because shifts are happening in every key sector, every key corridor in the earth. And if we miss it, there are some people that are going to be left out and left behind. What in your own observations have you seen over the past decade or so, and especially now, that is antiquated concerning leadership?
I was just introduced this year to a treasure, Miles Monroe. And I, always aligning yourself with the right brothers. I met this truck driver brother online, and me and him, he drives every day, and he always calls me, and he'll pour into my spirit or vice versa. And he said, "Have you ever heard of Miles Monroe?" And I was like, "No." But ever since he mentioned that word, every day I made it a mission to get up and consume or absorb something from Miles Monroe. YouTube. And one thing he talks about is leadership and true leadership.
Yeah.
You can be able to see it and hear it when people are speaking. And I think everything happens for a reason, and you can find a good in everything bad. And if you look at this time, we have been absorbing and following the wrong stuff. We've been listening to the wrong people. And now it's going to tell more so than ever. The cream is going to rise, and those that aren't real are going to fall from wherever position that they are, because this is going to separate, like they say, the men from the boys. Those true leaders are going to come out, and they're going to show themselves. So I think we're at the right time for us to be able to look at this. But true leadership, stay woke. I heard that two important words: stay woke. Deep in my heart, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I mean, I say I ain't.
All right.
When I start talking, I say, "Dang, you sound like you can." Look, things are set up. Even God tells us that He's already telling us it's already been set up.
Come on now.
So you have to be able to see it happening and operating. So you got to guard your mind. There's a battle. There's a battle for your mind, and the puzzles on the table, the pieces are going to move with certain things being interjected, and most of it comes from fear.
Yes.
So you can't be, as Christians, we call not to be fearful and not to worry about things, because those things are already we already know where the end of the story, how it goes. So we have to make sure we're doing what we have to do in the middle of the story. So when we get there, we'll enjoy the blessings for the people that actually do what was supposed to be done in the middle of it. But like I said, just listen. Just start to listen and open your eyes. Don't believe everything. As Flavor Flav say, don't believe the hype.
Hey, not the hype.
Don't believe the hype, because there's a lot of hype going on.
A lot of hype.
Hey, I'm gonna throw this out there. 5G has to come forth.
My Lord.
And it's gonna disrupt a lot of stuff. And while all this is going on, look and see what happens to 5G.
Okay.
And what's happening with 5G, because that right there is going to be a game changer. The financial institutions for cryptocurrency to really come forth and be that staple that everybody is looking for. Some things has to happen in the stock market and with fiat currency. Look and see what's happening.
Okay.
Look, just keep your eyes open. Watch everything. The leadership and the people are shifting. A lot of them are stepping down from positions of power because they know something that we don't know. The news is disruptive and it's controlled. We all know it's controlled. So like I said, my mom said, believe none of what you hear, half of what you see, and all of what you know. If you don't know it for yourself, if you don't investigate it for yourself, then you're doing yourself injustice and your family as well. Education. I am stuck here with 3 kids that now I become a teacher. Wow. Okay. I'm a teacher now. I got to go get equipment, and they're going to be at home doing classes just like they were online as a university. So education is going to take a change. a lot of that education, if you guys go to my Facebook page, it's not there right now, but I'm going to put up there. It's called Open Your Eyes America. And it's going to talk about this education system was set up for a purpose. So the purpose has changed. So guess what else is going to change?
The
educational system. But you can't see it because you got to have eyes to see, ears to hear. You know what I'm saying? If you're not plugged into the source, then you're gonna miss it. They're like, I read that scripture 100 times and I ain't see all that. I didn't hear all that. You know why? Because you ain't plugged into the source. When you get plugged into the source, you're gonna hear things and you're gonna see things that other people aren't. And don't wait for nobody else to make a move. You have to be willing to make a move on your own. And that's just like entrepreneurship. Just like entrepreneurship. Don't wait for other people. You have to see it. Whatever your passion is, you have to be willing to do it more than you're willing to breathe. And if you ain't, then it ain't gonna be successful. So that just doing it just to make a little money ends, whatever, that's not gonna get it. And what we were told back then is not the same now. And it's not going to be the same moving forward. You have to be able to change because change is going to happen with you or without you.
Put that in the notes, y'all. Change is going to happen with you or without you. That's good.
Hopefully it'll be with you. You know what I'm saying? And you being in control. Don't lose control. And like I said, we don't have control about when you go to that job and it has a sign on the door that says closed to further notice. Put yourself in control. When I'm driving, I want to be the driver. When I'm in the car, I want to be the driver. Because if the ship goes down, I'm the captain. Okay? I called one of my friends that gets on every day at 1 o'clock with me. We was talking about cryptocurrency. And I said, well, if you got investments like 401ks and all that, you need to go check on it. She went and checked on it. There was a deficit of $30,000.
Jesus.
That they lost of her money, her retirement nest egg. And then I said, hey, you know, you might want to, I'd rather lose that money on my own out here trying to figure it out than giving it to someone else and letting them lose it.
Yeah.
So she went and checked on it again the other day, and it just went down another $10,000. That's $40,000 that she done lost in the market in a matter of a couple of days. So, I mean, don't be blind. Don't be so trusting. When I was doing financial services, they told me, hey, you need to learn it for yourself. Don't just send people your money and then hope that they can go and increase it. Yeah, we've been taught 401k, Roth IRA, and all that stuff, but it's not going to happen moving forward because the industry is shifting. It's going to birth something different. And you have to be able to see it and be able to understand it. So that's why the education is out here for you guys. Like I said, crypto, health, come hit the number, call me. Let's talk about it. Like I said, freely you give, freely you shall receive. I give free information and I help as many people as I can with my knowledge. Just understand, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. But, you know, I have been messing up enough stuff to help some people straighten out some stuff. And I got a degree. So maybe I can impart something into you to at least make you ask the question, what's going on? And how can I do it better? And once you start asking those questions, the things are going to be revealed to you that you should be doing. And she says, I'm glad you even mentioned that because now I can stop the bleeding.
That's it.
That's what we want to do. We just want you to be more conscious and be in control of your own destiny. Now, I tell my grandkids all the time, I said, who controls your destiny? We know that God is in control, but he gives you the path.
Right.
To make decisions.
Yes.
Whether it's the right or the wrong, he gives you that. And that's the same thing. You have that. You have that. And you control your destiny, whether it's in the right direction or the wrong direction.
We're responsible.
To be able to take back what you've given away for a long time. And Pastor, I appreciate you having this call with me. I was like, man, what are we going to talk about? It seems like we got plenty to talk about.
And we always will. Listen, anytime I get down and break a little bread with you, I know it's going to be all right. So listen, guys, here's what we want to encourage you to do one more time. We've talked about the fact that things have definitely shifted. Don't look for the same thing in the same place because it won't be there. You're not even in the same place. And as he said, if you don't change, change is going to happen with you or without you. Don't get left. You heard him say, stay woke. Well, I have to say, you better get woke so you can stay woke. And business can no longer be conducted as usual. Put that memo out in the highways and byways, or you're going to find some people who were doing well, had great intentions, were helping a lot of people. They're no longer able to do so because they did not make the shift. They did not make the changes. So it is in the area of business, is also that way in the area of ministry. Your service, which is, for me, the greatest of everything. Your business should support the ministry. That's why I believe businesses exist, to support purpose, to support calling, so that we can come together with our common core values and do things that God desires to be done, helping people, empowering people, equipping people. Well, you can't do that if you don't have business functions, entrepreneurial processes in place that keep bringing in to meet the needs of what it is that you're supposed to be doing in your purpose. And leadership has changed. You don't necessarily need a title, y'all. It's been this way, but some people haven't been woke. Some people haven't been conscious of this. You don't need a title. You don't even need a building. Did y'all not hear what he said? You need an opportunity. Well, number one, you got to learn some stuff. You got to be coached, you got to be mentored, you got to be trained, you got to be plugged in. But you got to have it in our digital age, not even a laptop, not even a tablet, not even a computer. He said you can do it now with a flip phone, as long as it's, as long as it's the upgraded kind, right? So you can lead by, the world needs your voice. The world needs your message. And don't just teach the message without first being the message. That's what leadership begins with. Lead yourself first, because we can't lead anybody further than who we are ourselves. We are the epitome of what leadership is in one way or another, either in the positive sense or the negative sense. So be your best you. You don't have to compete with anybody else. You don't have to downgrade anybody else, try to make them look less so that you can make more. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. That's pathetic. Be your best you. Learn who you are and let your voice go out, because it's going to help somebody. Out of the 7+ billion people on the planet, there's someone that needs your voice desperately. They need to hear your word. They need to hear your testimony. How did you make it? How did you come this far? Why are you still here? They need to know your secrets. And that's what leadership is about. Leadership is about taking it to the next level, knowing that you probably won't be going there yourself once it gets past a certain point. So there needs to be someone coming behind you that you've mentored, that you poured yourself into, that you've had the honor and the privilege of tutoring, not to make them a carbon copy of you, but to make and help them to become their best self. But because God put them in your space to connect with you, he put them in proximity with you because you have something they needed. And they're going to be the very same ones who's going to take your mission, your calling, further and higher than it can ever go on its own. You won't be able to go all places with them, and they won't be able to go a whole bunch of places without you. But if you pour yourself into them properly, if you engage with them properly, when you're gone, they'll still be talking about their life because of you. That's what leadership is about. It's not about getting a big crowd, because crowds don't mean much. They come and they go. Jesus had a crowd. One moment they were saying, Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna. The next minute they were saying, crucify him. Don't get caught up thinking that you're a leader because you have a crowd. We're going to find out those crowds don't mean much now, especially in coronavirus days. What's going to matter is if you have people that are connected to you because of the heart of who you are, not because you're some authoritarian character that you're trying to make people do this or make people. No, leadership is about literally shepherding people, caring for people. And that's not just ministry talk. That's Life talk. The businesses that blossom, the causes that blossom is when people really discover that you have their best interests at heart. And if you're not going to have that for people, you're really not a leader. So ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I can't encourage you enough to go to SanWarren's Corner Facebook. He's dropped some nuggets, some pearls of wisdom concerning literally what we need to do and learn in the economic space as relates to the type of income that most of us, we still don't even know it really exists, but it does. There are ways that people are making money with this cryptocurrency that teenagers, I mean, making more money than people with PhDs times 10 because they took the time to learn. Get with this brother. He can help you on that. Get with him about some of the health stuff that he's mentioned because there are so many things that we don't know. And I'm one of them. So I'm going to be getting with you, man. We need to learn some things. Connect with him on his phone, 941-315-8414. And then if you're interested in learning some things about how you can build a home-based business from scratch in the area of travel, an $8 trillion industry. And I know you're saying, well, ain't nobody going nowhere right now. That's right now. That's right now.
They will. That cabin fever is real.
And it's
hey, I'm trying to figure out, man, I need to get up outside these walls. I've been here.
Man, listen. One of the wisest things I believe you can do right now, I'm going to close it. I'm going to have you to close it out for us, Sam. One of the wisest things from my perspective that you can do right now is get in the space, not for where we are right now as a nation and as a globe, but get in space for where we're going. And if this $8 trillion industry has been hit and has been hit hard, no doubt about it, you got to do your history. It's been hit many times just as hard, if not harder before. What do you think happened in 911? It got hit and they shut it all down for a long time. And it was a long time before people said, man, I ain't getting on them planes. I ain't going. Why? Because it got hit. Well, guess what? Within a reasonable amount of time, it was right back where it started from and then some. That's what's going to happen again. We don't know if it's going to be next week, next month, 3 months, 6 months, or the end of it. We don't know that. God does. But whenever it comes back, you don't want to be trying to get in position to catch up to it. You want to already be in place. If you want to build this way from the scratch as a home-based business owner in the sector of travel, and I want to encourage you, I want to work with like-minded individuals who want to see lives change. My main man, Todd Strand, this brother has made millions of dollars helping people. And you can go to my Facebook page, see archives, some interviews I've done with them. We've put together a coaching program with you in mind. Text Coach Me to 830-522-2110. The content of the training alone is valued at more than $1,000. We're putting people in position now. I'm going to throw this at you, and I'm going to have my brother to close this out. If you really want something different, you got to do different. And here's what it's going to cost you. We're going to give you the opportunity to get in position for free. Not going to cost you a dime. You can literally get in position for free. And then within the 30-day period of your training and just coaching and training, you'll see the big picture for yourself. Make your investment anytime within that window. The sooner the better. But we want you to have the space to see for yourself what it's all about. Anytime within that 30 days, get in place, get in position, make your investment, and you're going to be the better because of it. I promise you this. Coach Me, text Coach Me to 830-522-2110. It's going to be more than worth it. Lives are going to be changed over the next 3, 6, 9, and 12 months because of that. San, I love you, brother. Close us out. Tell us anything that you haven't told us already.
Well, man, look, I can go for another hour because there's so much that we didn't even get a chance to scratch into. But, I appreciate the time for you, Pastor, having me here. And hopefully those people that see this, make sure you comment and leave your comments, likes, or anything so we can have some feedback. But look, if you can look up, you can get up. No situation is too bad that you can't come back from or find a way to win. Those are some key words. I am confident that whatever you're doing, you just got to be true to it like yourself. And I just want to let you guys leave you with this. When my first sermon that I was hoping to do when I was getting ordained as a minister. That very first week I was in the hospital, and I asked, why, Lord? And then I discovered why. I discovered why, because he wanted to give me my sermon. And the sermon was, everybody was dying around me and all kinds of things, and I could hear it and going through the night. But when I finally got to the church and did my initial sermon, my sermon was, this is only a test. It is only a test. He wants to see, are you going to sit in the rain and waddle and cry? Woe is me. Or are you going to get an umbrella and get yourself protected and get under that umbrella? He's giving you everything you need. You just have to seek it for yourself. Okay. All right. Pastor Mel, I appreciate you guys.
Yes,
I appreciate you.
Share this broadcast. I promise you, God is working in your behalf. We are Joshua generation, and we are claiming God's promises together right here, right now.
Man, that thing is hot right there, Pastor Mel.